Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're coming across this video, my name is Nicole. I'm a vintage inspired lifestyle creator and I live in New York City. I haven't been super active on my YouTube channel the last few months, but recently I've had a bunch of new ideas for videos, so I'm going to try and be more active for the remainder of this year, so hopefully you'll stick around and join me. I want to do more of these kind of sit down, talking, educational style videos. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to find your personal style. I thought fall would be a good time to make a video like this because I feel like fall is the biggest season for fashion. Everyone's usually doing a lot of shopping, so if you're looking to kind of revamp your style, hopefully this video will be helpful. I don't claim to be good at many things, but one thing I do take a lot of pride in is having a very consistent and cohesive personal style. I would say for the last 10, 15 years, I've had a pretty similar style. Of course, it's evolved and changed and hopefully gotten better over time. But the desire to have a strong personal style really stemmed from college because I went to school for fashion design and I never felt like I was the best illustrator or sewer or any of the technical aspects of being in fashion design. But the one piece I really enjoyed and I felt like I had control over was my personal style and my aesthetic. I'm sure this comes as no surprise, but almost every project I did in school had some sort of vintage inspired element to it. I also love to put bows on everything. That was my signature. I honestly took it way too far in one class. It was a design class, and every project I did incorporated bows in some way to the point that everyone was calling me bows behind my back. So, yeah. But anyway, having a strong personal style means that when I look back on outfits that I've worn in the past or projects that I've done in college, even if it's an outfit that's very much of the time, it still feels like me. Of course, there's things I would do differently if I was going to wear that outfit today. But overall, I never think back and look, what the am I wearing? Okay, well, maybe sometimes with certain outfits. But for the most part, it still feels like me. So that's what I want to help you do and find your own personal style. I also wanted to make a video like this because there's been a lot of talk about microtrends lately and how everything has an aesthetic. It seems like every day there's a new one of these trends popping up, like tomato girl summer or coastal grandma or mob wife aesthetic. And a lot of people hate that everything has to be aesthetic nowadays, but I kind of like that people want to curate things. But the aspect of these microtrends that I don't like is that it creates a lot of waste. So that's another benefit of finding a personal style that's unique to you is you're going to be much more sustainable and cut down on all the waste we're creating in this world. And if you're hopping on every single microtrend, you're never going to feel like yourself. And you might look back and not like what you're wearing because you were just following what was cool at the time and not staying true to who you were and what you actually liked. So let's get started and I'll show you how to find your personal style. The first thing you'll want to do is to make a mood board. Personally, I use Pinterest and I have a bunch of different mood boards for different, feelings, aesthetics, moods, however you want to categorize it. You could use Pinterest or you can also create a collage on Canva or Procreate. You can also make one by hand and cut out photos and images that inspire you. And you can have different aesthetics by season or mood, whatever it is. Like for example, in the summer, I definitely lean more towards a nautical aesthetic. In the spring, I definitely lean towards a more 60s aesthetic. In the fall, I might go a little more classic or maybe a little bit more French. So it's okay to have styles within your overarching personal style. And if you want to follow microtrends, that's fine too, but you want to stick to similar ones. So for example, maybe in the summer, you're doing more of a coastal grandma thing, and then in the fall, you transition to dark academia. That's okay because both of those styles are really rooted in kind of classic colors and silhouettes. So you're not abandoning your personal style for something completely different the next season. So once you've identified what you want the aesthetic to be, you want to move into color palette. Now you can do a color analysis. A lot of people are getting these done nowadays. If you want to have a professional recommend to you which colors are going to look best on you. Personally for me, I try to stick to a primary color palette. So red, yellow, and blue, and also black and white. I will throw in some other colors sometimes, like a Kelly green, for example, but for the majority, I try and stick to those primary colors. For me, I try and stay away from pastels. They just kind of wash me out since I'm very pale and they do not look good on me. You also want to think about textures and prints. For me, I wear a lot of polka dots, stripes, plaids, houndstooth, animal print, really those classic style prints that are more bold and graphic. The prints I try and stay away from are ditzy florals, or really mostly any kind of florals. I also was really into quirky prints back in the 2010s, as many of us were. I try and stick to more classic prints these days, but sometimes I will still go for a kind of novelty print as well. So once you have your aesthetic and your colors, you want to start to think about silhouettes and what is and isn't on brand for you. So for me, something that is not on brand are maxi dresses or midi dresses even. I really do not look good in these, so I try and stay away from these in my wardrobe. So for silhouettes, as well as with colors and prints, you can make a list of what is and is not on brand for you to make it easier. So yeah, make a list of this if you're gonna go shopping, or even if you're just going through your current closet to see what you want to keep. And when you're making these lists about what is and isn't on brand, this should be what you feel good in, not necessarily what society or the media is telling you looks good on your body. It's all about what makes you happy and what you want to wear. So when you're refining your personal style, you want to make a capsule wardrobe. I think a lot of people think having a capsule wardrobe means it has to be neutrals, but that's simply not true. It just means having pieces that you can mix and match together. Having your color palette defined is really going to be helpful because it's going to be much easier to mix and match things since everything's going to already go together because it's in the same palette. For me, some of the items I consider to be classics in my wardrobe and part of more of a capsule are things like classic cardigans and sweaters, a polka dot dress that I can dress up or dress down, a pair of vintage jeans. So when you're out shopping for new items for your wardrobe, you want to find classics that are good quality. I know a lot of people might think you should go out and splurge on designer pieces, but I'm pretty cheap. I don't like to spend a lot of money. And in my opinion, I think finding vintage pieces, even if that's something from the 90s or 2000s, it's going to be made so much better and you're not going to have to spend a ton of money on it. So for those classic items that you want to invest in, I would definitely recommend finding them secondhand if you can. For those trendier items, if you can find them secondhand, that's great, of course. But if not, this is where you can buy one or two things, more from a fast fashion brand. I'm not a fan of fast fashion. I stay away from it as much as possible, but I think we have to be realistic as well. I try to think about fast fashion as fast food. It's not something you're going to eat every day, but once in a while, it's okay to indulge if you want. So once you've cleaned out your closet and gone shopping for those new items, you want to start putting outfits together. Something that can be really helpful is putting together outfits ahead of time and taking pictures and saving them on your phone. So when you're stumped for an outfit, you can just go to the photo. This is also a great way if you're looking to get more use out of your clothes and just find new ways to mix and match and wear things together. I definitely do this myself for sure. So now you've defined your style, you've put some outfits together, but we also want to think about things outside of just your wardrobe. Your personal style can extend beyond to your apartment, your home, to the books you read, the shows you watch, the music you listen to. It's really all about who you are. So for example, my apartment is also decorated in the same color palette, primary colors with black and white. Of course, everything I do is kind of vintage inspired, whether that's what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching. So yeah, it's really about having a consistent lifestyle. But at the end of the day, it's okay to have things that are off-brand or unaesthetic. We're humans, we're multifaceted, we're not just going to fit neatly into one box. So if you see something that you like, even if it's not in your color palette, just buy it anyway if it's going to make you happy. Or you don't need to just watch a show just because it fits into your aesthetic. We're all allowed guilty pleasures and things that don't necessarily align with our brand. But overall, I hope this video is helpful if you are looking to refine your personal style and make it more recognizable. And by doing this, hopefully we can also be more sustainable and cut down on waste and fast fashion. So if you like this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time.